Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Looking for some hot takes on the Lodgecast. I need phone counts and library rights. I want some hot takes in my eardrums. Watch out for salad dragons. These takes are coming in hot tonight. I want some hot takes. I need your hot takes.
Hello and welcome to LA Heat Wave Hot Takes. I'm your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishki.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
We got Brother Lucas in the back. Sup? And returning champions, Lodge Mistress Milster.
Hey, hey.
Ow! And everybody's favorite Brother Justin.
I was also going to make a joke about let the bodies hit the floor. Brother Bishki beat me to it.
There you go. You salvaged it. So, yeah, this is a hot take. Before we get into it,
How do you get the protein as quick as possible into the bloodstream? A little schnapps.
RottenTomatoes.com. When a group of rich 20-somethings plan a hurricane party at a remote family mansion, a party game goes awry in this fresh and funny look at backstabbing, fake friends, and one party gone very, very wrong. Period.
does it go awry, perhaps?
Ari, I like Ari.
I like Ari, though.
Are you a word?
Like a rye bread.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm reading. Okay.
That's good, though, because shit does go Ari real quick.
It goes Ari.
Atari. So this movie is another one, much like The Black Phone, that has buzz. So where were you guys at?
It's A24, so respect. I thought it was going to be definitely better than Black Phone.
Yeah, the trailer had me when Pete Davidson was like, I like to fuck. That's what I do. That's the vibe I like to put out. And I was like, this movie is onto something.
Yeah.
Low expectations.
Low, the Milster's
But when I saw
low.
A24, they got a little higher, but they didn't get too high.
Justin, did you have any preconceived notions?
My expectations were pretty low, but on the walk to the theater, I was thinking what it was like if you were in your early 40s
Yeah.
and you saw Nightmare on Elm Street opening weekend.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
Interesting.
What would that have been to you then?
Right.
So I tried to put myself in those shoes, trying to watch a Gen Z slasher movie as a man in his early 40s.
It would have been freaking awesome because that monster is awesome.
There you go.
I mean, the premise is awesome
Yeah.
of Nightmare on Elm Street.
They're very different movies, but the perception of what young people, how they act, what they listen to, what their whole, vibe is something you have to interpret when you're older.
That's right.
Very true.
But the thing that maybe shocked me more than any of the violence or any of the gore in this is how little translating you actually need to do when you watch this movie. Like, aside from lots of references to the group chat, which, 40-year-olds have group chats too. Like, was there anything really very focused in a Gen Z atmosphere in this for you guys, other than the fact that everybody was young?
Do you guys have a group chat?
Yes. You're the admin, actually, Justin.
Oh.
I don't know if you even knew that, but you guys,
joke.
I felt like you could easily make these characters pretty much any age, and it wouldn't fundamentally change the story at all.
Yeah, I mean, they lose Wi-Fi connection pretty early on
Yeah.
when the hurricane hits. So after that, then there's no internet culture.
Right. It's basically a creep around movie. You got all of these characters after some early pleasantries just creeping around in a house in the dark.
It's a bit Clue-ish.
It's very Clue-ish. And I was also going to say, is this even really a horror movie?
Right.
It's
A black comedy.
It's a
Yeah,
black
exactly.
comedy thriller there are horror tropes, definitely, like people die and it's a scary old house in a storm. But it's basically just, narrowing down who the killer is, Not to say I didn't have any fun.
Yeah, no, the early going, like the first at least half hour before they play it, before like the power crashes, I was having a lot of fun.
I heard Lucas laughing.
Yeah, I think everyone was laughing, right? Like,
Really enjoyed the first bit.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of laughs.
yeah.
There's some darkness on the horizon for Millie. I can feel it.
Pete Davidson, like this is like, I gave him a lot of flack, but as like a supporting role,
great.
like he's perfect for this role. Like,
Yeah. I foresee in 20 years, we're going to have to explain Pete Davidson to people.
Yes.
Like we had to explain Pauly Shore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where people are like, was he famous? We're like, yeah, real famous. And we let it happen. And it was kind of fun for a while, to be honest.
I think he's got a little more to offer than Pauly Shore, but Pauly Shore is the correct analog. I also felt like having him in this movie is like Animal House having John Belushi,
He elevates it, and it feels like all his lines are ad-libbed off the cuff.
Absolutely,
and they're
it does,
and they're
Lucas.
keeping some of them like in the movie in ADR or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like if you had John Belushi, but he looks like Chevy Chase if you put him through like a food dehydrator. There's something like he is very beguiling to look at. Like you could stare at his weird face for a long time and he would shrug and be like, yeah, I know it's weird.
He looks like a human salamander to me.
Yeah. Like there's something real interesting about that guy. And he did elevate this movie. You're always curious as to what his character is up to. Like, what is he thinking? You don't think that with everybody in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So when he dies, which is kind of
too soon.
It was just too soon to lose him.
Yeah.
And
you lose that spark, you lose that Chucky sauce factory.
But you get a little bit of that too with Lee Pace, who's like the 40-something-year-old guy who's there.
I thought he was good.
I thought he was really good too.
You keep cutting to him and you don't know where he's coming from and he doesn't really know where they're coming from, but everybody's there to have a good time. Intriguing. And you lose him.
but you lose him next. And then I'm like, oh.
You have the woman from Borat 2 is kind of our...
Maria Bakalova.
Is kind of our mysterious lead.
Sort of like dialed in like the same character from Borat 2, maybe?
Yeah, there was something like that mixed with Orphan. Like a little, you wonder if she's got some dark secrets or if she's...
I thought her mom was going to show up like Mrs. Voorhees, because like in the beginning she's like trying to communicate with someone, I think.
Yeah, they definitely want to make her seem like off a little bit,
I thought she was awful.
Oh, wow.
I thought she was awful. And I did not like her character. I did not like her. I didn't think she did a very good job with acting. And every time she was on screen, I was like, please just cut to someone else.
Wow. I thought she was pretty good. I was intrigued by her.
I did not like her at all.
Interesting.
Now, Millie, I don't know if you picked this up. She's not a native English speaker.
Yeah,
maybe that's what you're just confused.
No, it was just
that
her
she
acting.
couldn't
It was
speak
all.
English
It was
well?
just this mopey face the whole time. It was
she
like
must have been directed that way because I loved her in Borat.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too, and she was very animated. But in this, it was just like mope face.
But mope face was supposed to belie some sort of darkness underneath.
I did not buy it. I did not like it. I did not. No.
The resting mope face did not work.
I'm always not a fan when we start like The Shining where they're already driving to the location because you know nothing about anything, anyone. So there's no baseline. Whereas I think if Stanley Kubrick in The Shining, as well as the director of this movie, Halina Reijn, who I think is Dutch, like if they just had maybe them getting like in the car, going somewhere, or gave us something just at the very beginning, I could have cared more. But since I literally knew nothing.
Care after all that kissing?
You missed the deep tongue kissing and professions of I love you.
That was a little nod to Larry Clark's Kids, that opening shot. But
what about that, Lucas?
It didn't.
That's
really
how it
affect
started.
Me. Yeah, I didn't really care. I just didn't care.
I agree.
Never cared once. There was no tension for me throughout because I didn't know who anyone was. So I was like, well, it doesn't matter.
And there was not
the edge is
really
turning, folks.
any likableness except maybe the gentleman who was, what's his name?
Lee Pace.
Well, no, he was pretty likable actually. The guys were more likable than the girls, really.
True. And that's why it's sad when they're gone.
I know,
Yeah,
but I feel like
unfortunately.
that has to do a lot with the writing. But I actually did think that the acting, except for the girl who was the mope face, I thought the acting was really good.
Yeah,
I was very impressed.
I have no real issues with the acting in this. I just wish they had more to do. Like, I wish the energy of the opening would have sustained and it didn't settle into a creep around feature, you know?
Well, to me, that was the most unrealistic part of the movie is they interrupted some high octane drug fueled dance party to play Mafia.
Yeah,
essentially.
right. So
Just brought it to
what
a
is our
screeching halt.
collective past with the game Mafia, or, you know, it's called different things.
I never played it, but it's pretty boring. It seems like.
Right.
It is kind of boring. I never did a creep around Mafia.
I never played it, but I like when I was a kid, we would play hide and seek in the dark with the lights off, and you had flashlights.
See, that's
cool.
more interesting. Like, Justin and I have been to many a Mafia party, and some people love it, but to me, it always does. Like you said, like whatever we're doing, that comes to a screeching halt, and then you just suddenly start accusing everybody. It's really awkward and weird and aggressive and kind of stupid, you know? But some people swear by it.
It's like I really like the setup with all the characters, and you thought that there was going to be some underlying stuff that really meant something, but it never really did. It was all just kind of petty bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't pan out but the setup was really good.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is it was very realistic, like in the early going and the way it's shot. It's like all kind of, you know, in the way people are talking. Everyone's realistic. So there's no style to it too much. And then you get into this part where people are murdering each other and you're just like, the believability goes down.
Well, and then you learn more about the characters, like almost at the end. We needed to learn either as we went or more top heavy at the beginning, because I think it could have bared that weight because we were having such a good time. But to have a little bit of expo at the beginning, then a big chunk of creep around, and then a bunch of screamed expo at the end, I don't know. I don't know if that's satisfying.
Well, I don't know. What would the expo have been at the beginning, though? Because they hint at the girl's drug problem. They hint that she hasn't been around.
Yeah.
So they're leaving those breadcrumbs.
They
Like,
are.
I don't know. A monologue would have just brought the whole thing to a
That's
screeching
true.
halt.
But it's just, I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, they stopped relating when they started creeping.
That's it. I'm trying to, maybe that's why they needed a steady drip during the creep. But there's just so much creeping around when they're just quietly creeping around.
Yeah. Like the party is much more fun and exciting in the beginning than the creep around. Like then just, it's kind of dull.
What should have happened? Should Leatherface shown up in a party bus? Like,
well,
no, but maybe
you guys didn't like that either.
But it seemed like there was a lot more off-screen story they were referencing from the night before with like the punch and like the other. I mean, maybe if you had it over 2 nights, where the first night is like, you know, 30 minutes of them just arriving and talking, and you're like laying out all the exposition or groundwork, and then like 45 minutes in, it's like, let's play the game. And then like 60 minutes in, it's like someone's dead for real. And then you ratchet up the tension as you go.
And it's like, the problem I think is that it's like, again, it's just with this relating thing, right? Because it's like, they want it to be like paranoia is the killer or whatever, like, which is fine. But the problem is that everybody becomes unlikable and nobody can trust anybody else. And so they all just turn on each other. And that's not interesting, in my opinion.
If everybody needs to be a suspect, then everybody's got to be shady.
It's like there's like connection and heart between characters that completely ditch it. Yeah. And I don't think that works. Like, I understand the theme and I understand where they're trying to go, but it completely just, in my opinion, makes it super boring.
Yeah. And I thought it needed to be more like Gaspar Noé's Climax. Just do some real hard drugs and get really crazy. Like, it just needs to build up in its craziness and absurdity. And
I was honestly expecting it to do something different.
Yeah,
you know?
Me too.
Like, stylistically make it trippy, or I don't know, do something.
Like, I wasn't a fan of X necessarily, but I don't have the same criticism of that. Like, I saw a couple new things in that. In this, the Zoomers ain't showing me the future. They're just creeping around, and they happen to be the youth of today. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read it as commentary about Gen Z, or do you think it's just self-aware?
I don't think it was sharp enough to be commentary about anything. I think it was just kind of referencing things. Like, I think they were laughing at themselves a little bit where they were talking about all their trigger warnings and body dysmorphia and, you know, what have you. But I don't feel it in the bones of this necessarily.
That's fair. A lot of that stuff did get laughs in the theater.
Yeah. And it's fine as, you know, you go out to the movies with a group on a Friday night and you want to giggle and laugh and, you know, scream a little bit, I guess. Like, it's fine for that, but they could make it deeper. They could make it hit harder. And it's a little hamstrung by the ending, which we won't necessarily spoil here, but the ending makes it so that nothing too crazy can happen. I'll put it this way. There's nothing supernatural going on, and there's nothing like super slasher going on.
I will say I was pretty satisfied with the ending, though, even though we won't talk about what happened. Like, it was a pretty big laugh.
Yeah, it's a laugh, but... You know,
it's also kind of a shrug.
Hell yes.
Well, it sounds like we got a lot to say in our bones, so let's go to them bodies, bones. All right, we're gonna keep the Lodge Mistress holstered just for a moment. We're gonna start out with the hothead tonight. You are first to bone.
First to bone.
Oh, yeah. It always feels good to be the first one in. Yeah, A24, they really need to buy their marketers like a steak dinner, whoever cuts their trailers. They really know how to make their product seem sleek and hip and cool and edgy. But yeah, I mean, I was enjoying myself for the first, you know, third when the aforementioned male actors were alive, and then when they died, I kind of checked out a little.
Men only.
Yeah, I kept waiting for other bodies to drop, and it seemed like they were taking their sweet time getting to each body drop, and so by the time they kind of got to the end, I was just fatigued a little bit.
Your body was ready to drop.
Even though it was a good runtime. It was only 98 minutes, which I also appreciate, that we're not trapped there for like 2.5 hours or whatever. So I'm going to give this 2 bones, but with the Brother Ben bump for Pete Davidson, I'll give it 2.5.
It's a Brother Ben bump, y'all.
Hell yeah. Brother Ben bump moves in mysterious ways, and he's been bumping up a lot this summer. God bless him. All right, Brother Bishki, what you doing?
I'm surprised by the 2.5 bones. I mean, I was in the mood for the trailer I liked, and A24, like Gen Z slasher, like that sounds fun, and Pete Davidson, and so yeah, I was very into it, and my bones were very high, and then Bone Train was going down a little bit in the middle third, picked up towards the end. I'll give it a little bump at the end with the ending that I think got a laugh out of everyone, even if it wasn't revelatory.
And it wasn't edge of your seat scary.
And it wasn't, no. So I'll join Lucas. 2.5 bones.
2.5 from Brother Bishki. Wow. All right. Brother Justin, what are you doing?
You know, for people who seemingly didn't enjoy the film, these
right?
are some high bone counts.
Right?
I'm very confused. I know some people listening to this are also confused. I'm in the car and I don't know what's happening right now.
There's something to it.
You're safe, Brother Justin.
Yeah.
You're safe.
No, my expectations were incredibly low, to the point where walking into the theater, I was like, do any of us actually want to be here? Is this, I guess, content. Some content. But I was pretty enthralled throughout, really. I mean, I thought it was interesting. I didn't think it was necessarily breaking the mold, but we're in for a lot more of this.
Yeah.
A lot of the talk we heard, a lot of the vibe we just experienced is going to be here to stay for the next couple of years. So get used to it. The young folks are going to start making movies like this, and there's nothing we can do about it.
And they probably will have not even seen the older movies that they are unknowingly
aping.
I also kind of wish they just had not a disclaimer, but like when they were showing them doing drugs on screen, like snorting powders and stuff, maybe they just have like a scene where they test it for fentanyl to make sure it's good drugs. Because I feel like today, I know people in my social circles who have died from fentanyl, and I just feel like doing drugs today is just such a fucking like gamble, you know? Like it just is not the old days where you could like get baby laxative or whatever, talcum powder mixed in with your blow. Now it's like some chemical that will just kill you flat for no reason.
Justin, your bone count got hijacked by a PSA.
So it was scary, is what you're saying.
Yes, that was the scariest part we wrung out from this.
Stay safe, fam.
No, I mean that's all true.
Yeah.
No, I mean expectations low, pleasantly surprised. I'm going 1 bone per body of the title, 3 bones.
Nice, Justin.
Wow.
Bodies, 3 bones.
Bones.
Take us down, Millie.
All right, Lodge Mistress.
Woof it, Millie.
Yeah.
Woof it.
No,
I
you're
don't-
like-
It, Millie, punt it.
Listen.
she's not gonna woof it.
No, yeah, wolf. Yeah, way worse to be a wolf. Just spoiler alert. But
When Lee Pace started howling like a werewolf, Millie was like, "I know, I'll get
I'm
there."
gonna woof it.
I wasn't there yet because he was still alive.
Yeah.
But I have to say, the beginning was good. I mean, I really enjoyed when they got there and it was like all this kind of weird friendship stuff. And
Yeah.
there was some mystery and I liked all the characters. I liked the dialogue. I liked, him having that chat with her in his office and it seemed kind of improv and it was weird and I liked it. I was into all that. But when the bodies game started, it started kind of going downhill. And when they started creeping around, it just went way downhill. I was like, please turn the lights on. I'm so sick of just seeing, somebody's face in a phone light.
Now be honest, were you asleep? I thought you went to
No,
sleep
I
for a
did
little
not
bit.
go to sleep, but I groaned audibly like 9 times. I was like, ugh. Oh my God, another walk up and down the stairs. Like, I mean, it was just, God, I wanted it to be over. Like, and then it was over, and I was like, oh, ending. So, I mean, I thought it was kind of a PSA about don't do drugs.
Sure.
Even though, Lucas, your PSA is way better than this film's PSA. But expectations were low, and then they got high when I saw A24 because I didn't remember that it was A24, and so then that may have affected it. But I just got to go. No Brother Ben bump at all. Can I do I need the
Yes.
Brother Ben slump.
Brother Ben slump.
Because I was at 2, and I just want to slump it on down to 1.5. I did not enjoy this film. I enjoyed the first part, and
That's a
the
brother.
rest I did not.
That's a Brother Ben slump, y'all.
It's a Brother Ben slump, y'all.
Wow.
My lodge mistress. I love thee.
Wow.
I love thee.
That's incredible.
I don't think Brother Ben even knows what he hath wrought with
Oh,
this
he
bump.
knows. He knows.
I do want to summon a crouton.
Salad crouton.
There was a podcast monologue about the difficulties of podcasting.
Yeah,
and
Struck a deep chord.
and we were all like, yes, it's a difficult, challenging,
Slightly embarrassing.
slightly embarrassing
a lot of coordination.
Yes.
endeavor. And
There was some deep podcast laughs from all of us.
Scattered throughout. Yeah, there's like 10 podcasters in there at least.
Yes. Oh my God. So I also enjoyed this movie more than I may let on. With these types of horror movies, I feel like I've seen it all. And I didn't see anything new. I thought they were going to show me something new tonight. And so I guess my expectations were too high. But as it is, I was entertained throughout. I didn't have a problem with any of the acting. And the ending was kind of funny. It was kind of clever, So I ain't mad at this movie. I'd throw this on when people are just hanging out and wondering what to watch, I think it works. And that's not the most glowing praise. And Bishke hates it when I do this, but compared to what's been coming out in this genre, it's pretty solid. So I'm going to go 3 bones.
Oh, wow, you guys. Wow.
I'm sorry, and we will argue about this later tonight.
it's original content, folks.
So you recommend this to your dad, eh?
I would recommend this to my
probably like
dad.
it,
Thank you very
actually.
much. And my dad would have a great time. He'd be like, oh, they were slipping in the blood. I saw that.
Your dad wouldn't stop talking about what the potential mortgage would be on the house they were in,
Exactly.
and why they didn't have proper backup generators.
No, he'd have plenty to think about and plenty to look at. So
Question. if you leave your mirror on in your car, that does not run your battery down.
It could.
I tell you what does.
It does over a longer period.
Right.
Of time.
Not like 6 hours.
But also, why didn't the Range Rover driver's side window roll down? Because when they pulled up to the house, she's like, damn this window. And she gets out and opens the gate. And then later, Maria Bakalova runs to the car in the rain and is like forcing the window down to get in. And I'm like, why is the window
There was
this much
probably
of a
some
problem?
other big script thing that got cut, and then they just didn't cut the window.
Yeah, I
thing.
feel like there's a lot of loose threads like that.
Yeah, how did their cell phones flashlight not run their batteries down?
This is our clearinghouse of bodies issues that
Hold
have
on.
just come
Cell
raining
phone
down.
flashlights are LEDs. They don't use that much power, and the motors of automatic windows do occasionally go out. It happened to me in my 96 Camry.
Brother
The
Justin
exact same problem happened to me.
is deflecting all these missiles and handling business.
And by the way, it was a big life lesson for me because I suffered that problem for an entire year, and when I finally got it fixed, it was $60 goddamn, and I should have done it immediately.
Nothing. Wow, that's shocking.
Always check it out. My dad could have told you to take it in.
He would have.
That's bodies, y'all. Thanks, Brother Justin. Thanks, Lodge Mistress Millie.
My pleasure.
Go out and get spooked, y'all.
Mr. Body.
Stay cool. Olds have group chats too.